जय राधा जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी नंदन व्रज Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Nanda Jai Patita Pavana Gaura Jai Nanda Jai Patita Pavana Gaura विष्णुपाद ब्रह्म परिव्राज भक्ति वेदांत प्रभुपाद की एवं विष्णुपाद ब्रह्म परिव्राज आचार्य कष्टोत्तर भक्ति वेदांत श्लोक महाराज की अनंत कोट वैष्णव वृंद की नाम आचार्य श्री ठाकुर प्रेम से गौ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरिराज गोवर्धन की रजूल श्री वृंदावन धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माए की यमुना माए की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी महारानी की संवेद गौर भक्त निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी आल गुरु समूल्य आल गुरु समूल्य आल गुरु समूल्य आल गुरु श्री गुरु से गुरुनाथ स्वपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudhirayet nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttamaśloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, text number 22. Yo mam sarveshu bhuteshu
Yo mam sarveshu bhuteshu
Shantam Atmanamishwaram
Shantam Atmanamishwaram
Hitvacham Bhajate Maudhya
Hitvacham
Bhajate
Maurya
Hitvarcham Bhajate Maurya
Hitvacham Bhajate Maurya
Basmani Eva Juhotisha
Vasmani Eva Jyotisha
Basmani Eva Juhotisha
Vasmani Eva Jyotisha
Yo mam sarveshu bhuteshu
Yo mam sarveshu bhuteshu
Shantam Atmanamishwaram
Shantam Atmanamishwaram
Hitvarchim Bhajate Maurya
Hitvacham Bhajate Maurya
Basmani Eva Juhotisha
Asmani Eva Jyotisha
Yo mam sarveshu bhuteshu
Yo mam sarveshu bhuteshu
Shantam Atmanam Ishwaram
Shantam Atmanam Ishwaram
Hitvarchitam Bhajate Maurya
Hitvacham Bhajate Maurya
Basmani Eva Juhotisha
Asmani Eva Jyotisha Yo mam sarveshu bhuteshu
Yo mam sarveshu bhuteshu
Shantam
Shantam
Atmani Ishwaram
Shantam Atmanamishwaram
Hitvacham Bhajate Maurya
Hitvarcham Bhajate Maurya
Asmani Eva Jyotisha
Basmaneva Juhotisha. Translation and purport by Sri Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada. One who worships the deity of the Godhead in the temple but does not know that the Supreme Lord as Paramatma is situated in every living entity's heart must be in ignorance and in compared to one who offers oblation into ashes. I repeat the translation. One who worships the deity of Godhead in the temples, but not know that he, the Supreme Lord, as Paramatma, is situated in the situated in every living entity's heart, must be in ignorance, and is compared to one who offers oblations into ashes. Purport. It is It is stated clearly herein that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his plenary expansion of Super Soul, is present in all living entities. The living entities have 8,400,000 different kinds of bodies, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is living in every body, both as individual soul and as a super soul. Since the individual soul is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, in the sense that Lord is living in every body, and this, as a super soul, Lord is also present as a witness. In both cases, the presence of God in every living entity is essential. Therefore, person who profess to belong to same religion sect, but who do not feel the presence of Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living entity and everywhere else are in the mode of ignorance. If without this plenary knowledge of the Lord's omnipresence, one simply attaches himself to the ritual in a temple, church, or a mosque, it is as if you were offering butter into the ashes rather than into the fire. One offers sacrifices by pouring the clarified butter into the fire and chanting Vedic mantras. But even if the Vedic mantras and all conditions are favorable, if the clarified butter is poured on ashes, then such a sacrifice will be useless. In other words, a devotee should not ignore any living entity. A devotee must know that every living entity, however insignificant he may be, even in an ant, God is present. And therefore, every living entity should be kindly treated and should not be subjected to any violence. In the modern civilized society, slaughterhouses are regularly maintained and supported by a certain type of religious principle. But without the knowledge of the presence of God in every living entity and so-called advancement of human civilization, either spiritual or material, is to be understood as being in the mode of ignorance. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjanashrakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kham karoti vacharam bhangam langaya te girim Yet Kripatamaham Vande Sri Guruvandana Karanam Paramanandamadan Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hare Krishna. Thank you and welcome everyone for today's talk and discussion. So, in these words, it is stated that Kapil Dev is saying the what should be the attitude of a worshipper or the devotee towards all the other living entities. One should not only see the personality of God Krishna in the form of deities in the temple, but also in Yeshirava Gopinath. That's also every living entity in living entity. So, what is the temple? Temple is the place where Lord Krishna is present in the deity form. Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, expands himself into deity. He expands himself into Guru. He expands himself into devotees. So, deity and his paraphernalia. These are called. What do you call? I'm not able to get the term. So the Thadiya. So it is said that the Thadiya of the Lord is as important, or in fact, like if it is like somebody like spiritual master or Vaishnavas, it is more important, more worshipful than Krishna himself. So by this we can understand how Krishna is absolute in nature. Wherever he is worshipable. So basically, Srila Prabhupada here stating that like Krishna is present in two forms in every living entity. Because Krishna in every body the soul and super soul is present. So one may say, okay, I will respect super soul, but not the soul. No, Prabhupada is saying the soul is also part and parcel of Krishna. You cannot disrespect any living entity. So in that manner, we can say, like the six anarthas, lust, greed, envy, anger, illusion, and ignorance. So when they are directed to any living entity, like somebody might be more powerful, somebody might be doing well in their material and spiritual life better than us, we develop envy. Like not we, but generally in general, somebody may develop insecurity or envy. So by this analysis of Srila Prabhupada, now you are not envying that person, or not you are becoming angry with that person. You are actually becoming with Krishna himself in the form of his part and parcel. So one should have utmost respect to all the living entities, even the animals, even the insects, even the trees. So which has life has Krishna in them. Even the Jada also, even the metal nature also, it is said that, like as per the Vedic scriptures, even the stones have life. Like when they say, like after going to hell and coming back, they'll start becoming a stone. I'm not sure how the presence of stone can be seen, but even the non-living entities have the presence of God in the form of Brahman. Brahman is all pervasive. So basically, that's what now, like the difference between neophyte devotee and Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. Kanishtadhikari is a neophyte devotee. He only sees Krishna in the deity form in the temple, and then he disrespect. He don't care about anyone else. They don't care about uh, other creatures, other devotees, or anybody like that. What to speak of disrespecting exalted Vaishnavas, or disrespecting demigods, or disrespecting anyone, in like who's spiritually connected, like sadhus. Mm. So so one should have utmost respect to all these personalities. Mm. So because they are all connected to Krishna, we cannot say no one is connected. In that sense, everyone is connected to Krishna. So disrespecting, that's why if we see in the Vedic culture, when we are in India, as soon as our leg touches to even something laying down, immediately they'll pay over, like they'll uh, ask for, like, pray for forgiveness, like touching a book or touching some chair. So they don't use legs for anything, because legs are considered to be the lowest part of our body, and they are considered to be very insulting to, like, if you are touching, or you are touching leg with somebody, means you are equating your leg to that thing. That's why, like, when we see, like, uh, after coming to the Western culture, we see that even the books that they read, they actually sometimes they touch them with legs, they move with legs, something like that. I was shocked to see that. Mm. Because in India, what we are taught in schools is the books are considered to be the expansion of Mother Saraswati. Whatever we read, so that should be offered with great respect. So in that way, all the demigods, all the living entities, Jada, even Jada Prakriti is expansion of Krishna himself. That when we have that consciousness, you can see Krishna in everywhere and everything. And that is what all about. That is what Prabhupada wanted to establish. So, but one may not be able to reach that stage, like that's what Prabhuji was saying, right? You may not be able to, you may not be able to have that vision, or you may not be able to live as per that standard. Uh, but we must endeavor. We must endeavor with wholeheartedly, as much as possible, as much like no, Prabhuji says now in Bhagavad that Shanair Uparati means moment by moment, we have to endeavor ourselves to lead a spiritually progressive life. Like a progressive in our consciousness, progressive in our dealings, progressive in our behavior, progressive in our feelings also. What we feel about the other person, what we think about other person, how you treat others. Everything has to be like in progressive. Like if you are actually, somebody comes to a temple, he consider the devotees are like some just like us. Even they go to the highest authority, like spiritual masters or gurus, and they deal with them equally. And the devotees who are practicing or who have been in the movement for some time, they'll be surprised the way they deal with them. So means we all came from that stage. I still remember when I first went to ISKCON temple, I saw His Holiness Danvir Maharaj was giving class. I I I thought like, what this Western person is teaching about Bhagavad Gita? What do they like now? Like, because we might have known some basic things about Krishna and all those things. And when somebody is speaking about our Indian philosophy, it is surprising. Like I was thinking, like how much they can like in the first sense. I was in that like in a judgmental mode. Is he speaking right or wrong like that? Yes, Radha. So so like that is the very neophyte stage. Means like anybody who has no idea about the presence of Krishna and everywhere. So as we progress in our life, our consciousness has to expand. Our conscious, our dealings, our feelings has to expand, because everything starts with our feelings, our thinking. Our thinking is the basis. It is said that our thoughts go in a long way. Like even if you think about good about somebody, that person can feel it. That person can reciprocate it. So even in our thoughts, we have to be very conscious and cautious. Like, because we see like if we are able to control at the level of thoughts, then there is no chance that we make a mistake in your feelings and in your behavior, or in your or in our words or in our actions. So everything starts with the thinking. When you think this person is so and so, like offending a devotee doesn't happen all of a sudden. You first offend in the level of thoughts, and you'll offend in the level of feelings, and you offend in the level of then willing, and then it will transform into action. All of a sudden, when you have the respect, when you have high respect, high level of respect, high level of reverence in the level of thoughts, then there is no, like not even 0.001% of chance that an action suddenly sprouts up in such a way to offend a devotee. When we highly respect, or when we highly think of that, all the devotees, including the animals, including the birds, including the plants, including the other living entities, as Krishna's part and parcel, and they are connected. They are connected to Krishna as a soul and super soul. Then we definitely will not commit anything which will actually offend other person. See, like still in Kali Yuga, we have this advantage. Like unless like there are difference between the type of offenses in Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga. In Satya Yuga, if you even think of offending a person, even if you think mentally of something, then that is considered to be offense, as an offense. We saw examples of like Brahmaji going after his daughter. Not going, he was not actually running after his daughter. He actually mentally got attracted to, just got attracted in the beginning of creation. That is Satya Yuga. In Satya Yuga, that too. Just got just a little bit of deviation, and he started acting mildly on it. Immediately, he got the reaction. Even it enraged Lord Shiva also. So that kind of person, like no, that kind of severity was there. If you see the cursing of Agastya Muni to Indrajana Maharaj, Indrajana Maharaj just didn't pay respects to Agastya Muni, and Agastya Muni immediately got offended and he cursed him to become elephant. So in Satya Yuga, it is said that even the mental offense is considered an offense. But the 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 pious activity or spiritual activity will give the result on pious and both the pious and impious acts will give the results only when it is like pious activity will give the results even if it is mentally done also. So, but in Kali Yuga, it is said that the mental offenses are not taken into consideration. If the mental offenses are taken into consideration, everybody will be already totally grounded in its spiritual progress. So that's why we have that. That's why as we progress in devotion circle, the way we deal, the way we react, the way we convert, like it is said that even when it was there, like when Krishna was present and when he leaves from Dwaraka, he goes back to Godhead. Arjuna was there in Dwaraka, and Arjuna, when he returns back to Hastinapur, Yudhishthira Maharaj sees Arjuna very dull and very like morose, and he asks different reasons why you are not happy, and finally he comes to the conclusion that did Krishna left the planet, or did he went back to Godhead? Then Arjuna discloses the fact, and he broke into tears, and then he discloses. Means anything inauspicious has not to be said. Like they don't even say like not what to speak of talking harshly to a devotee. Anything inauspicious about the devotee also should not be disclosed. That is the Vedic standard. So means like but one may say, okay, if you don't say something inauspicious, if you don't give feedback, if you don't say about this bad news, how does that devotee know? It is said that the material, if you don't act on it, then material nature will find some way or other to convey that message to that person, if that person has to know that. But as much as possible, we should not be the element of that displeasing to that devotee. So such a very intricate, very sensitive message, from that we get that. Okay, so the Srimad Bhagavatam gives all the information, how to behave, how to welcome, how to treat, how to and furthermore, after Srimad Bhagavatam, one more step is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita in Srimad Bhagavatam, one may say all the pastimes are very Puranic, means very old. Like if you see Krishna and all the different personalities, Parikshit Maharaj, and they were about 5,000 years old. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is like 500 years old only. If we can very much correlate with our life, what everything with entire pastimes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's why Prabhupada stressed on Chaitanya Charitamrita first. If you actually absorb Chaitanya Charitamrita, then your devotional life will be, you will become more advanced spiritually. So that's why we can see how we deal with other devotees, how we deal with other living entities. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we got the pastime, right? Like even like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes very much displeased when a devotee actually doesn't pay the taxes to the government. He says, even the king is a representative of Krishna. How can you not pay taxes like that? So we take all these things, and when we have this consciousness, of course, we are not on the level of that level that to treat every living entity equal to Krishna, but uh, step by step process. Are we progressing? Hmm? We should clearly see our the respect, the dealing, the are we more and more refining or not? Hmm? So, but we should progress, but we should not uh, uh, decrease. So, when we have that consciousness, then automatically Krishna will give the intelligence for us to how to act, how to treat properly. We can learn by the examples. That's why Sadachar. Sadachar means the proper behavior towards every living entity, all the Vaishnavas, all the paraphernalia of Krishna in the temple, outside the temple, in the society. That is Sadachar. Because preaching, like Krishna says, one who preaches the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita is very dear to me. So this preaching can be done in different ways. Preaching is not only just go and give the class and recite the shlokas, not like that. Preaching can be done through our actions itself. How we treat, how we behave with other persons. That is the most preaching in action is much more effective than preaching in words. So and if you see. The entire goal of devotional service is to please Krishna. So when you want to please Krishna, then you have to start with pleasing his devotees, his representatives, his part and parcels. To directly go and you don't have to directly go and deal with Krishna or deity of Krishna. You can deal with other your family members, your friends, your roommates, or your how you deal with them with great respect, with grateful heart, with refined dealings. When we are able to please them, like Bhakti Maharaj says, right? When you see a person, you have to think that my spiritual progress is entirely dependent on how much I please this devotee or how much I please this person. So that is a very wonderful statement. When we have that consciousness, then our dealings will never go wrong. Because if you see, like we deal with when somebody, like one time, or Giriraj Prabhu was saying something about Krishna to some devotee, and the devotee was taking it lightly. Then Giriraj Prabhu said, "You see the same message. If Maharaj says, you will listen with full attention, but I am saying you are not listening." So means like, of course, we have the limitations also. So we cannot be able to have that attention when we are outside. Rather than when we plan accordingly to listen and sit in the Bhagavatam class. So as much as possible, we should respect them, everybody, and so because it is said that not only the right process but also right intentions. And in bhakti, the goal and the process is the same. Means like in all other material process, like the goal is different. For example, if you want to become a millionaire, you might be having few thousands of dollars. Like if you want to become a becoming a millionaire is a goal, but every dollar that you spend it will contribute. Or like if you want to become an expert or a technician, or for example in India some IAS, IPS officers or something like that, some designated position if you want to acquire, or you want to become a CEO of a company. If that is the goal, then the process is keep working on it. So but in the spiritual circle, going back to Godhead or attaining Krishna Prema is the goal, but that which will give us what will that when we go back to Godhead or when you attain Krishna Prema, what will you do? We perform bhakti. And to achieve that goal, what we have to do is to perform bhakti only. So that's why somebody, when Prabhupada came here and preaching about the glories of holy name and telling everybody to chant, his disciples are reporters, I think reporters went to Prabhupada and asked, Swamiji, you are telling us to chant Hare Krishna. So what will you achieve by chanting Hare Krishna? And Prabhupada said, you will develop desire to chant more. Okay, then that's fine. But if you chant more, then what will you achieve? Then you will chant more. Then they got confused. No? Then Prabhupada says, see, we are not doing bhakti for anything, expecting something. We are doing bhakti for the sake of doing bhakti. And bhakti itself is a joyful process. So when we are sincere, when we are sincere and sensitive in our dealings, we will have more and more tendency to remain in bhakti for long and perfect our life, and or even go back to what it attain Krishna Prema, or will be able to serve devotees nicely. So that is the goal. So bhakti should not be, anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavrutam. Means you don't have to have any other desire other than to perform bhakti unmotivated, uninterrupted. Ahaituki apratihata. That should be our goal. As long as we are engaged, we don't have to be engaged. We don't have to be the pujari on the altar. We can be doing any service, doing pot washing, sweeping the temple, or serving the devotees. All are equal. All are equally potent to bring us back to home, back to God, or purify our heart. In fact, the menial service that you do, the more progress that you make. Because if you do the hi-fi services like giving class or going on to the altar or dressing the deities, then we might have we might become conscious now what I'm speaking, what people will think of us, how people will appreciate us. That is a trap of Maya. But if you perform menial service, nobody will be proud of sweeping the floor or doing pot washing. You don't want to, oh, see, today I'm going to wash the pots like that. So when we do that, such a menial services, one thing is we are performing bhakti, and at the same time, no anarthas are increasing in us. Otherwise, if you have like thousands of devotees waiting for you to listen, and you come and you do kirtan and you give a nice class, we can observe one thing, like if hundreds of devotees appreciate us, and one person comments or does a negative comment, then immediately entire our attention will go to that person, because we are so much conscious about what people think of ourselves rather than how did I serve. Now, of course, if a person makes a comment, you can learn from him and you can be grateful for him. That is one way of accepting it. So that's why, of course, this, even this verse says, to see Krishna everywhere. It doesn't mean that to be impractical or to be, to live in a kind of, you don't go, then you don't say that I see Krishna in tiger and then go and hug a tiger. We have to be respectful to the condition in which they are in. Somebody might be it is tamasic, somebody might be rajasic. As much as possible, we respect them from distance and respect them distance and deal or associate with somebody who is actually more of Satoguna Shuddha Sattva, or whose consciousness is more pleasing and more of tolerable for us. So our goal is not to offend anybody, but take as much as only that we can handle, or we can do the service. Of course, if you go and preach to the very preach through action and preach through vocally and preach through verbally to people of different categories, that will be pleasing to Krishna. But we should have the intelligence how to deal with every one of them. If you deal with the kids, and if you deal with the adults, if you deal with the Matais, if you deal with the Prabhujis, and if you deal with the animals, if you deal with the non-devotees, if you deal with the devotees, we should know how to deal with every one of them specifically. That is, means in a personal way, not like okay, my dealings are like this only. I'll also respect the animal. I'll also respect the dog also in the same way as I respect the exalted Vaishnavas. So we should know, because that is the way. Because if we like that respect should be within our heart. No? Like for example, if a child makes a mistake, and it is parents' right to educate their child in different ways. Either no Sama, Veda, Danda, different ways. Okay. Then that is the way of respecting or serving serving the child properly. Not like, okay, whatever you do, whatever you feel like doing, you do, and I will just sit there and do nothing. That is actually disrespect. We should know. We should have that discriminatory power. What is actually service and what is not actually service. Actually, when Prabhupada was there, Prabhupada used to give heavy feedbacks, and Prabhupada had that intention that this is my service to correct the devotee so that they progress. Unless somebody corrects us, somebody helps us to progress. No? For example, if in a corporate circle, if somebody writes a program and send to quality testing, and it is the duty of that quality test QA to scrutinizingly find faults in that code. That's why that way that code will become more and more refined, and it will not fail when it go into production. So when somebody gives us feedback, somebody gives us any suggestion, of course, how they will give feedback also matters. Based on their advancement, they may give feedback or they may give suggestion. But within ourselves, we may have to have that vision. Okay, this is what I can learn from him. This is what I can use to progress myself in my spiritual life. So when you have that consciousness, then it will be like we will never offend a devotee, we will never find fault with devotee, and we will never be displeased. Because why will be displeased? We'll be displeased when you have expectations. Or the devotee has to respect me. That when I say Hare Krishna, they have to say Hare Krishna and bow down. When I bow down to the devotee, is he going down or not? That's not our concern. Our concern is do your duty, do your thing, and then move forward. That is the way. That is the way. That's why Krishna says. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, right? Sunadapi sunishena tarorapi saishnu. You have to be humbler than blade of grass. When we have that consciousness, where is the point of expectations? Oh, Prabhu, you're not respecting me. As soon as I enter, you have to have these changes like that. Like, no, means that devotee is still in a very basic stage. So, but of course, one more important thing is we should never judge any devotee. We actually understand the devotee to know what level he is in, so and we can treat accordingly. We can take his, if we take his association, or how much association can we take from him. Only for that purpose, we have to have this knowledge of analyzing the behavior of devotees. But no, we should never disrespect the devotee, and we should always be ready to serve the devotee in whatever possible, which is actually possible for us. So that is what I can think of in this verse. If anybody have any questions or comments or any additional things you want to add, you can add. You want to say something?
Like one thing I just wanted to ask, when you said that we have to respect devotees and all, sometimes we might have to complain something to our authority. Sometimes it might happen about something and which we cannot tolerate and we cannot keep inside us. It might affect our plans, affect our mood, affect our nature. So we have to complain to our authority.
Yeah, like if something is bothering you, we should actually we should not say a complaint, take it to the notice of concerned
So
authorities.
it's not meant as a complaint,
It-
when we
You
say
should
something,
take
it's complaint.
you should take to their attention, Prabhu, because of that behaviors. Because of this dealing, I'm not able to handle myself. My conscience is getting little bit down. Can you help us like that? Just like no, you have to approach to the authorities also in a mood of taking shelter rather than complaining. Complaining, you should never complain about anybody. We had that example of like in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Parikshit Maharaj was asking the Dharma bull, who broke your leg? And bull doesn't even say, that person is standing there only with his stick, still beating, and that bull doesn't even complain. The different people say different things like that, he says. So complaining is out of question. You just have to bring to the attention of the authorities, and it is a duty and it is a service of the authorities to take necessary action so that all the devotees serve the Lord or serve other devotees in a more pleasing way. Okay.
One more thing I want to do. When we speak about some devotees just in humor, only to like only humorous way, but that is also like they are speaking something bad. I mean, it's like disrespecting on the right way.
Oh, it's not like when we deal with the devotees in a humorous way, like we have to see what kind of relation we have that devotee. Is the devotee considering as equal or no, or superior, or easy devotee have friendly relationship with the devotee or not? Then see, like when we have that, it is said that with nice talks and all, you can make a person to drink even poison also. But in an aggressive way, by distressing a devotee, you can't even make that person to drink nectar also. So we have to see what kind of relations we have the devotee, and if we have the proper relation, then only we have to. Because having humor is natural phenomenon. Even Krishna and Gopas and Gopis and even Chaitanya also, there are intimate pastimes among the devotees. For example, dealing between Advaita Bhagavan and Nityananda. That was like, if externally you see that looks like offensive, but they had the relationship. That's why it is said that when two Vaishnavas fight, never take a side. You should only keep quiet and not judge any Vaishnava. That is the thing. Let authorities do that, because it is their duty to handle that. Okay? So based on your intimacy, your how you are getting along with the devotee, you can always do. And if that person does, and you make fun of him, and he makes fun of you, that way it will be like, it will be more. It will bring you both together more and more. Like I'm not saying about you; I'm saying about myself also. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anybody have any questions or comments on that?
No questions, Prabhuji. Wonderful class. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavad Shri Srila Prabhupada Vanchakalpadasya. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice.